Got my coffee here because how cute are these mugs, guys? I can't even. Anyway, hello and welcome back to my channel. I am so sorry that I have been MIA. It is summer here in Canada, and summer for me is like flying back and forth to visit family and like being with friends and being outside. However, I am back and I'm here, and I'm sorry that I've been gone for a few weeks, so here we go. Last week on my Instagram, I asked everybody what they would want my next video to be. The two choices were how I lost my weight after being diagnosed with PCOS, and then my second one was healthy snack ideas. And it was literally so close, neck and neck. It was 51% weight loss and 49% healthy snack ideas. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this PCOS weight loss series first, and then I'll do a healthy snack idea video. Before I get started, I just want to put a disclaimer out there. I am not a nutritionist or a doctor or a dietitian or anyone who is basically certified in any PCOS or nutrition advice or anything like that. I'm simply telling you my story, what worked for me, and the tips that I found worked for me, specific to me. So as you watch this video, please take it with a grain of salt. I don't want anyone coming away from this video saying I have to do exactly what she said, but almost look at it as if someone telling you their story, and hopefully you can learn something or be inspired to do something in your life. I know for me, I like YouTubing or reading blogs about women who struggled with the same thing, and I found solace in their stories. And so that's just basically what this is. Because weight loss is like so complex and so different for everyone and has so many factors to it, I'm going to be doing this video series in 3 segments. So this first video will be the food changes that I made that made an impact with me. The second one will be the supplements that I use to help me maintain my weight. And then the third one will be lifestyle changes on how I keep maintained weight. That also being said, I'm gonna go on a whole spiel about body weight and like what works for you. I feel like in social media and magazines and all of these different platforms, we're often told like a specific size we should be based off our height, our weight, whatever it may be. And I just want to let everybody know that you should not give in to those pressures, and you should basically find a weight that makes you happy and that makes you feel healthy. Have a weight that's maintainable. So that means a weight that it's not making you starve to death every day, a weight that's not making you like disassociate with your friends and family, or making you feel miserable. It's hard to find a weight that works for you, and that was a big thing for me because I constantly compared my height with what I should be feeling. So where I am right now is where I was before I got diagnosed with PCOS. I'm not gonna tell you my weight because I feel like that is so irrelevant to this whole purpose and this whole cause. What I want women out there to know is I don't want anyone feeling bad about the weight they are or how they got there or how they're going to lose it, because I know the pressures of trying to fit into a specific box and trying to be a specific size based off what other people are telling you. And for me, I've found a weight that's maintainable, meaning that I'm not stressed about it and I'm not constantly trying to like cut my calories. I found somewhere that my body seems to work in, and all I want you to know is try and find that for you. There's just so much negativity out there with like body size, and I think especially with PCOS, no one really understands that you can do everything, but your hormones are working against you. And I have always been the one that's worked out the most and ate the healthiest, and I was always bigger than all of my friends, and everyone was always like, I don't get that you work out, or like, I don't get how you're the size you are by what you do. And it's just like really hurtful things like that, and people don't get that your hormones are doing everything to basically say like, screw you, I don't want you to lose weight, or I don't want you to gain weight. They're basically fixed in their position, and losing weight under those conditions is not a little bit difficult, it's very difficult. I kind of felt uneasy making this video because weight loss and like watching people's weight loss stories were like uplifting, but at the same time triggering for me. And I found that when I was watching them, part of me was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not the only one with PCOS that's having to deal with weight gain. And at the same time, I felt like, oh my gosh, they lost the weight. Why haven't I lost the weight? Like, what am I doing wrong? And so I kind of put this video off for like as long as I possibly could, but a lot of you were interested in it. So I'm just going to basically give you my tips that I think have helped me lose weight in like a healthy, maintainable way. I'm not going to be doing anything drastic here. I'm not going to be like asking you to like delete food groups or like go on like crazy diets. Actually, there's a food group that like I don't eat because it doesn't work for me. But now that I got that whole spiel out of the way, just want to let you know, like, love yourself, love your body. We are all going to work at different body weights. We're all going to be energetic and thrive at different weights that work for us. And I want you to ignore like anything the media tells you. Like, don't buy fitness magazines or like fashion magazines, because they're like the culprits of like making you feel like you are not the size you're meant to be. You come to a point where you're just like, I'm better than all of that, you know, like I'm better than like making myself feel like crap day in and day out to like fit into some standards. So just want to let you know that, and all I want you to do is like take this video and be like, maybe I can make some healthy changes to my lifestyle. That's it. If you have not watched my channel before, there's a video that I talked about. My first video actually was my PCOS story. And when I went off the pill for the first time, I gained like 25 to 30 pounds in a very short period of time. It was 2 months. And it really freaked me out. It really scared me. I got really bad symptoms. I had hair loss, acne, hair gained and like under my chin and like on my chest and my stomach, and it really freaked me out. So I went back on the pill. This time coming off of it, I was just much more aware of my body and listening to my body and having patience with things. And therefore, I didn't get the symptoms as badly as I did the first time. First tip is having smaller meals throughout the day, but meals that make you feel full. So the snacks should be something that like satisfies you, but is also healthy for you. Whatever it is, make sure that after you have had that snack that you feel like more satisfied than you did before. There are a lot of useless snacks out there. Like I used to snack on those like seaweed strips, which are like really low in calories, but like you finish that pack and you're like, okay, like I don't feel any different than I did before. Or like things like kale chips, like that's great, but you're not gonna get full off of kale chips. Maybe you are, I don't certainly. This helps because if you have PCOS, your sugar levels are not where they should be. Your glucose levels could be on the higher side, and your insulin is not where it should be either. And so basically having small meals and like maintaining your insulin levels are gonna make you feel more energetic and less tired, rather than like spiking them up with something sugary and then like getting really, really hungry and then like spiking them up again and like then getting really, really, really hungry. So instead of your insulin levels doing like this, they're kind of more moderate throughout the day, and that has really helped me. Number 2 is calorie counting. Delete any kind of like self-regulation in forms of like calorie counting or like calorie expenditure is like a big no for me. Basically not giving into fad diets, rather listening to like what makes your body work for you. So if you're on like a keto diet and it's not working for you, like don't do that. Like don't follow these trends, because they're not really looking out for your best interest. I just really do not believe in like diets and like basically making yourself like trying to fit into like a specific way of eating that's not really listening to your body and like not really intuitively eating. Again, you're eating based off a menu that someone else has given you. And sure, some of you it might work to eat like that, but some of you, it might not work to eat like that. And I just think that trying every single time for these like quick fixes is just not sustainable, and it's not healthy, and it's not going to really help your cause. So I completely eliminated that. I unfollowed all the negative feeds on social media that were like telling me how to like eat clean and like, you know, eat certain things or whatever it was. I just completely eliminated all of that from my diet. Not my diet. Completely eliminated it from my mindset, and that really allowed me to start listening to what my body needed way more. Next is huge as well. Well, these are all huge. find healthy alternatives to snacks you like. So if you are someone who loves sweets, like I am obsessed with sweets, and I'll talk about this more when I do my healthy snack video, but find things that are like high or higher in nutrition value, but still giving you like what you want. And at the same time, like if you want a cookie from a cafe, like have a cookie from a cafe. Like you're not gonna die by having a cookie once in a while when you go with your friends. Like I'm really against like eliminating things and like feeling deprived dramatically from things. So for me, I really love ice cream. So I've found like a healthy alternative by finding like a vegan ice cream, and it's made with like coconut milk, agave nectar, and like cacao powder. And like that to me is way better for my body. Still tastes delicious, but not filled with like a bunch of chemicals. If you like chips, there's so many alternatives to chips. I'm not really a fan of kale chips, but there's things like lentil chips that are made just from like dehydrated lentils and like dipped into like salsa or hummus. So good. So it's about finding alternatives, like even chocolate. Like I'll find like a vegan chocolate or a dark chocolate rather than buying like a Snickers bar, and you're still gonna feel like you're eating something delicious and that you like, but it's just better for your body. Which brings me to my next point. I don't cut out things that are like bad for you. Like I hate that so much, and I think that dialogue between women is like really toxic and really dangerous. You know, like, oh, I had that pizza, like that was so bad for me, like I need to go to like the gym tomorrow, or oh, like I shouldn't have that cake, like that's not good for me, or you know, like you feel like guilty because like you had a cupcake. Like relax. Like to me, I now do not have cravings for things like I did because I'm not in the want what you can't have mentality anymore. Like before, I would go somewhere and I'd see like all of these like treats, let's say someone's birthday or whatever, and I would like eat so many things because I was denying them myself, or I would like sit there the whole time being like, oh, I can't have that, I can't have that, I can't have that. Whereas now I like may have a piece of cake, but I literally sometimes I'm like, nah, I don't really feel like it, like I don't need it. And that has never been the case for me. Like before, I would crave things like so badly because I was telling myself I couldn't have them. Whereas now I'm like, nah, could not. Allowing yourself to have these things in moderation actually stops you from like binging on these things, and it actually like takes away from you eating them even if you don't really feel like it. I hear my friends now, they're like, oh, like I wish I could have that, like I really want it, but like I'm not gonna have it. And then they like go and binge on something after, and it's just like, why not just like have the cookie? Like really, just have the cookie, and then like it's done. And like that's another thing, is like don't feel guilty for having those things. Like don't feel like, oh, I've had the cookie and now I have to like make up for it by like starving myself all day or like going to the gym. Like no, you're not gonna die from having a cookie. Like you're not gonna gain weight by having a cookie. Like if it's in moderation, you're gonna be fine, honey. You're gonna be just fine. Third to last thing is to tweak meals that are your favorite meals so that you feel like you can eat with your family and your friends. So like I said before, I would always make food that was like completely different from my family and friends so that I like could like sustain this diet. And what that did was just cause me like a lot of stress, so way more time consuming because I was cooking not only for like a certain group of people, I was making a separate meal for myself. So rather, what now I do is I just tweak things to make them more friendly for what I feel like that day. So for example, if I'm making a bolognese pasta, I'll make the base the same, and then I'll give my friends regular pasta and I have the gluten-free pasta, or I make us all the gluten-free pasta, or I like make theirs with pasta and I make mine with rice, or I make theirs with pasta and I make my bolognese on like a bed of vegetables. It's just about tweaking things so that you still feel like you're not doing something like crazy different, and it's about finding those recipes that work for like you and your loved ones, because if you are making separate meals all the time, it gets tiring like real fast. It also gets really expensive having to buy like all of these separate groceries. You guys know, if you follow my Instagram, I'm like obsessed with pancakes. And so now I just use buckwheat flour instead of regular flour, and that's how I've tweaked that meal. I haven't eliminated pancakes, I've just changed the flour base. So there's little tweaks that you're gonna have to find like what your favorite meal is and like find the tweak that like works for you. Second last thing is to moderate your sugars. This was given to me by my naturopath. If you, anyway, for me, I have resting high glucose levels just because of my PCOS. My insulin isn't as controlled as it should be. So by having high sugary meals or sugary things in every meal, you're kind of spiking your insulin all day, which isn't really good for your PCOS. So rather than spike it all the time, try and have it moderate by not eliminating, but like cutting down on sugars. So for me, I would have like fruits all the time, all day for all my snacks. And by like changing some of those with like vegetables or like, I don't know, whatever it might be, that really helped basically maintain my glucose levels, and I just felt less tired throughout the day because I wasn't constantly crashing. So I'm not saying get rid of sugar, but try and like balance it out, like I said before. And I would really recommend like writing down what you eat like in a day or for a few days, and then just like analyzing your food diary. Like for me, I didn't realize how much sugar I was consuming until I wrote it down, and I was like, whoa, like I'm having like a ton of berries in my oatmeal for breakfast, and then I'm having like an apple and more fruits for my snack, and then I'm having like chocolate after my lunch, and then my other snack is like a shake with like cacao powders and like more like stevia based things, and then like after dinner I'm having ice cream. And then you're like, whoa, like I'm actually consuming way more sugar than I thought I was. So that's another trick. Next one is having protein, or trying to have protein in every meal. Again, my naturopath suggested that this was a really good idea because it helps, again, balance those glucose levels from spiking. So if you have protein with your meal, they're less likely to get as high. So if I'm having an apple, I'll have like a handful of nuts with that. If I have oatmeal, I'll have like protein powder stirred in, or like almond butter stirred in. If I have like my lunch, I always have some source of protein. Last thing is to just be really aware of things that are like healthy for you but aren't healthy for you. Culprit of that is protein bars. A lot of them are marketed as healthy foods for you, but when you look into them, a lot of them are filled with like a bunch of processed things, chemicals, tons of sugar, and if it's not sugar, it's filled with like tons of aspartame, or like even the natural ones, like you have to kind of have in moderation. Like I'm a big fan of Lara bars, and Lara bars are just like usually 2 or 3 ingredients. The majority of that bar is dates, and if you look at the sugar content, it's like a ridiculous amount. Like you might as well have a can of Coke. So you have to be really careful with the foods that you're consuming that are labeled as health foods, because a lot of them are just like there to trick you. That doesn't go with everything, but for me, the biggest culprit of that is like smoothies, like smoothie bars that kind of trick you into thinking something is healthy, but it's actually just filled with a bunch of sugar. So again, be aware when you're ordering a smoothie, like how much sugar is in that smoothie. And then the second one would be like protein bars, because they have a lot of sugars in them. Those are my, I don't know how many tips there were, maybe like 15 tips. For me, those tips really worked. I would love for everyone, if they have any more tips, to like write them in the comments below, because a lot of us look through those comments for advice. I know I do, and I've received a lot of advice on my previous videos in terms of what I was talking about in that video, things that I didn't know before, and I owe it all to the people that put those comments in, and a lot of people read those comments and get tips from those as well. So if you have any tips on how you are maintaining your weight, or you are losing weight on PCOS, please comment down below, or if you have any questions, I try and get back to everyone. Biggest message I want from this video is for you to leave and to start saying like, I need to start listening to myself rather than like the media or marketing or like other people around me, and I need to like wake up in the morning and like start feeling like happy and comfortable with myself, with the weight that I want to be, rather than what other people want me to be. And I think once you start doing that and like trusting your body and like trusting what it can do for you, I think you're gonna feel a lot happier and a lot better. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps support my channel. I have a lot of exciting stuff for you guys coming up, and I cannot wait to share some things with you. That's it for this video, and I will see you in the next video, which will be talking about supplements that I've been recommended by my naturopath to help maintain your weight and help maintain sugar levels. So we'll see you then, and thanks for watching.